Hello, one and all, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Geek vs. Nerd, where you get to decide who is a geek and who is the nerd.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
host. As always, we are your hosts, Chuck Watts and Danny B. And this is a special episode, guys. Fair warning, we are just talking Superman here. So we're going to do about a 15-minute spoiler review of Superman. We've seen it, so have you by now, if you're watching this. And then at the end of the episode, we're going to give away this first appearance of Crypto, the Super Dog. So, let's just get it out of the way, Danny. 3 years of waiting for this movie, dude. It delivered. I was so happy walking out of the theater. What about you?
Yeah, it was good. James Gunn did what, most thought he was going to do. He brought what he learned from the MCU, carried it over, and reinvigorated DC. There was actually like some levity. It wasn't dark and brooding. It wasn't just random Easter eggs that nobody knows what you're even talking about because we don't know what version it is in the first place, all mixed and matched. So yeah,
I think what was great is the reviews I had read before we saw it was this is the most comic booky film ever made. And they weren't kidding when they said that. The way it just throws you into the world, the way they don't need to establish origins, but just the way people acted. People are like, oh, that's not what would happen in the real world. Well, guess what? Superman doesn't exist in the real world. He exists in the comic books. And that's what we read him for. So nobody can say that they didn't like this movie if you're a fan of Superman comics. Even Man of Steel was divisive. It's grounded. It's in the real world. This was just like, hey, guys, you're picking up issue 10 of Superman and we're jumping right in. I mean, the only establishment we get for that universe was the opening crawl. 300 years ago, metahumans came. 30 years ago, Superman landed. 3 years ago, he appeared. 3 weeks ago, he got in trouble. 3 hours ago, he got fucked up. And that's it. And then you're just in it.
yeah. So the one thing they did is they finally showed consequence. Like this is the first time you've seen Superman fight where he's getting he's getting hit, and you can tell he's feeling it. Every other movie pretty much every DC movie, there was no consequence to nothing. The heroes never had to struggle. They just overcame every obstacle just on a whim. This time he had to get through stuff.
And one of the things two complaints that I had read, people were like, oh, Superman's too weak in this and everything. The flip side to that is Ultraman is the first real opponent he's had. It's like Peter Parker. He's always holding back. So he's not even aware of what he's capable of until that time comes. You know what I mean? Because he's always pulling his punches. And then the other thing is people were just sitting there and they're like, oh, this Superman is too campy. He's too hopeful. What?
That's
His symbol
Superman.
literally means
Superman
hope.
is hopeful. Superman is, and he's Batman is a guy who's brooding and never smiles, and he may crack a grin here and there. Superman's smiling, laughing. If you could do whatever you wanted all the time, anytime, no one could stop you. You'd be like, hey, life is awesome, even when it's
And
not.
the creativity as well. One of the biggest gripes people have about Superman is how Lois Lane couldn't tell Clark Kent from Superman. And they actually went with the canon version, which is the hypno glasses. And this movie, they're built by Mr. Terrific. But how awesome was that? Because that's canon, man. That's
Yeah,
actually like straight up comic book.
you
But I
get
thought that was such a cool thing.
But like that's something that they never did in Snyderverse. Snyderverse, he would wear glasses. They would never mention it, and they would somehow expect you to expect what was going on.
On the flip side of that, though, Lois Lane, it took her like 6 minutes of screen time to figure out who Superman was.
Perry figured it out. Like everybody knows, like how long they've been. Oh yeah, it's been going on for a while. Okay,
The other thing I really love is the way the side characters, everyone was like, oh, there's going to be too many characters in this movie. You voiced that concern
yeah,
initially as well. I think they balanced them
yeah, they
perfectly.
did a good job bringing everybody in. Everybody got their moment. It wasn't too heavy with any certain people. And so if they didn't do like they did to Cyborg, where they just wrote him completely out of the movie. And if I'm an actor, I'm gonna be pissed about that. You told me something, you signed me for it, you recorded all these scenes, then the movie comes out and I'm in there for like 2 minutes. Like what even is this? So they did a very good job of bringing everybody in and giving them their time.
Another cool thing that we didn't get to talk about yet was everyone always says, oh, Kryptonite can just take him out. There's a line in the movie that all the kryptonite on Earth had been destroyed. So that's why Metamorpho does it. In the prequel comic, it turns out Supergirl went around the planet and rounded it all up and destroyed it. So they're not going to have that crutch. That's why I thought that was an awesome way to bring Metamorpho in, and he looked incredible.
Yeah, they did a real good job with him. And what his
Supergirl,
powers
what'd you
were,
think of her?
that fit. Fun, campy. So I am dying to see Supergirl as a Red Lantern being pissed off and going nuts.
So
That,
two things. As soon as he said the crypto was a foster situation, I knew that that was Supergirl. But then the whole thing of, oh, she goes partying in space because you can't get drunk under a yellow sun, because
that's
her
going to
movie
bring
is
in
set in
Lobo.
space.
And when you see Supergirl being the fun, happy-go-lucky girl with all the powers to turn into this rage monster when she gets the red ring, you're going to see. We'll find out how good an actor she is because that's
So
playing
here's
two
what's
completely different roles.
the Red Lantern arc is so scary because every other Red Lantern, with the exception of Guy Gardner, Atrocitus, and Dexter, you're a mindless zombie once the Red Ring takes you. That's why you can't even make constructs. Not only could she make constructs, she still had her consciousness. So she knew people were trying to fuck her up and was still, guess what? Like,
Yeah,
it's
bring
just
it.
crazy. That story, it literally, the Green Lanterns and Red Lanterns have been beefing for like 30 issues before that happened. She gets the ring immediately. They were like, truce, everybody, truce. Okay, we gotta figure this out. Like Guy Gardner, his exact line in the comedy goes, shit just got very real for you, Atrocitus. Like, we
Yeah,
reached the find out stage, as my friend Danny would say.
yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch these things. Like the way that they show Guy Gardner's powers, the Lantern show is going to be very good. If they just do,
So
they're not going to have the same budget. If they just do half of that in the show, it's going to be a fun watch.
on the use of his powers, they did something specific that I really liked compared to the Ryan Reynolds movie. The Ryan Reynolds movie made the constructs look hollow because that's kind of what they do in the comics. Not here. They were very solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they use the gimmicky concept. Dude, when they're fighting the kaiju, Guy Gardner puts oven mitts on them. Like just the little shit like that. He hits
he's
people
hitting
with a
the other
bat.
dude with the baseball bat. So we're going to get to see each Lantern create constructs according to their personality. So
Well,
you're gonna have John Stewart with guns and sniper rifles. You're gonna have Hal Jordan with airplanes and fighters
and the
and all that
fists.
stuff.
So that's the thing.
Yeah,
In the
and
comics, they each
the big boxing gloves. Like so that's gonna be all part of what you're gonna see going forward. It's gonna be fun.
well, Guy Gardner, he uses the bat because there's an issue where they're training and John summons a gun and Sinestro goes, a gun, how human and primitive. And then Guy Gardner just goes, you want to see primitive? And spawns a baseball bat and just starts going to town on him. So it's like the little things about Guy, the way he stepped into Superman's face, like bring it on. I heard people, they were like, dude, he wouldn't stand a chance. I'm like, Green Lanterns are one of the few people that can stand a chance against
Yeah.
Superman. And God forbid the squirrel comes in. You don't want to fuck. You know about the squirrel. These people don't know
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
squirrel.
it's a wrap. You're just gonna shut it down in his brain, and Superman's gonna fall and drool.
Well, I laugh because he saves a squirrel in the movie, and I saw some of the comments like, "Was that Chip?" I'm like, "No, dude, Chip's not from Earth."
Yeah,
Although that would
first,
be
yeah,
incredible,
relax. So Chip was just hanging out on Earth. Superman saves him, and he's like, "Thanks, buddy. I'll remember that later when I zap your brain."
dude. Jimmy Olsen. I love him in every iteration, but Jimmy Olsen gets bitches, dude. Like that reveal of he's like secretly dating Eve Tessmacher was so hilarious to me. And
Yeah,
the fact that
that
he was
relationship is
literally
funny.
about to let the world end rather than spend a weekend with her. Like, remember he's in the alley, he's like, "Oh, the whole weekend." Oh,
Yeah. I'm with Jimmy though. That is a lot. I
so
mean,
they just announced a spin-off series with him and Mr. Terrific.
I like the way they did Mr. Terrific.
Dude, that's the guy that played Darwin that
Yeah,
got
I
the
know.
worst comic book death ever. Talk about redemption. But the line when he shows up to the camp, don't worry, it's just the smart one.
And they just went ham on everybody.
Dude, it was so good. Even the way the movie was shot is like comic book panels. When him and Lois go through that portal and the whole scene with the Proton River, the way it cuts back and forth, everybody, is the exact way a panel would happen. When Ultraman and Superman are fighting and Lex is calling out the battle codes, that's exactly how it would happen panel to panel. So that's what I mean when I say it was the most comic booky movie ever. But Mon Pa Kent, dude, they killed it.
Hmm. Yeah, I like the way she was talking on the phone, like had it on speaker, but still had her mouth away from it and was like touching the buttons. Like they brought it home.
And then the big twist, obviously, is the change to the mythology with him being sent here to rule the planet. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I can see why people have a problem with it. It takes away from the core of who Superman is, and I'm never a fan of removing who a character is at their heart.
So I'm going to disagree with you there. I know that initially the idea is, but the way they pay it off at the end with his new message being from his Earth parents, that enforces it even more. It's like, no, this is why I was here. I may have been sent for something else, but this is who I am. And
Yeah,
dude,
but
I
his
started to tear
father
up.
was supposed to be different. That's why he sent him here. You're supposed to be the best of us. We screwed up this planet. We screwed up here. We're sending you to Earth to be the better version of who we can be and to be a guiding light for humanity. That's who
You know,
Superman is. And once again, to prove my point, who played who played Superman's dad?
Kevin Costner in Man
No,
of Steel.
not in this one.
I don't know. Bradley Cooper.
Yes, Bradley Cooper's a bum. He sucks. He is horrible. Thank you. Of course, Kevin Costner, every other dad of Superman was like, hey, go there, protect humanity. What does Cooper say? Oh, just take him over because he's the worst. Ugh,
And then James
Cooper.
Gunn did the little things for comic fans. Like everyone was wondering who's Ultraman going to be. We knew the moment that the fortress doors opened for Lex,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they pay off in the movie.
It was him.
But it's like that's written for the comic book people to see it coming. You know what I mean?
That's why
Which
I
I
think
thought was
it's
really
gonna
cool.
be he went through that black hole. He's coming back as Doomsday because he was in the Doomsday outfit just with the
I
youth.
agree,
So I'm seeing him as coming back as Doomsday.
100%. I love everything they did with it, man. It starts the universe off in a great way. I feel like there was no character that was lagging. I feel like the only real case of that is Hawk Girl, but that's because she has a bigger role in Peacemaker. So for what she was there, I thought it was really well done. Mr. Terrific, dude, like I
He got
love what they
plenty of
did with his
screen time.
character.
Yeah, he got to show because he hacked into Lex's computer and was going against Lex one on one and still hacked and fixed it. So he
Dude,
showed his worth on that.
the door though, when him and Lois are waiting for the ship, you have
I,
a
I,
super car, like you have a flying saucer, but you couldn't get a faster door.
I haven't worked on the doors yet.
And another little thing too, when Lois brings the injured Superman to the Kent farm and like she's walking him down, Mrs. Kent just goes, "You must be Lois," and that's it. And what that meant was they know that if he trusts her enough for
Yep.
that she knows who he is, that's all they need to know about
Yep.
her.
No conversation. Just come on in, welcome home, your family. Here we go.
I loved it, man. I think that there's great potential here, but again, we were all kind of worried about, oh, there's this many characters. How are they
Yeah,
going to pull it
that
off?
was my concern. I knew he was going to copy Marvel's homework. I knew it was going to be good, and I needed to be good because it's going to force Marvel to get off their ass and start doing things how they used to. This was Superman was Age of Ultron. That's all that movie was.
Well,
You,
he's also taking the Peter Jackson approach going forward to the DCU, meaning that there will be director's cuts when it comes out on Blu-ray. For example, the Superman one has 35 minutes cut out. And I love this idea because not only does it bring back sales of physical media, but it's like you get to watch the movie again when it
yeah,
comes out. Because
and
let's face it,
scenes
the Lord of the Rings extended editions,
are amazing. The mouth of
and
Sauron is still my favorite scene.
but just the behind the scenes features and everything, it's
Mhm.
like 72 hours worth. But the physical media is dying. Let's just say like it is. So this is a
Ownership
great
is
way.
dying. Yeah, that's like anybody who bought a Nintendo Switch 2 that it gets bricked because you're using a legal mechanism to store your own games and Nintendo can brick it so you can't use it. Do not buy a Nintendo Switch 2 on the secondary market. Good chance you can't use it. This is why physical media is dead. They don't want you to own anything. They want you to rent it. Pay full price for a short-term lease.
Absolutely ridiculous, dude. So before we get out of here, I just will say I went into this movie with a lot of expectations, and all of them were met, and then some. And I cannot wait to see where the DCU goes here from now. But on that flip side, maybe it was so well done because James and Jeff Johns got the idea for the DC layout from someone. I wonder who that could be.
Well, no, there's only, who could say where they got that from and what ideas came and when and a couple years ago where they heard that. So get ready.
Alrighty.
The night is coming.
Um, and guys, so it is time for a giveaway. We are going to be giving away this first appearance of Crypto, the Superdog. Now, to win this comic, it's very simple. Comment with your favorite quote from the movie. It could be just a scene, random one-liner, anything you want. And we're going to leave it up for 72 hours. And then 72 hours from now, I'm going to go through in the comments and randomly pick a winner. And you guys will get this. So that being said, Superman, my overall rating, this is only the second movie this year. I'm giving a 10 out of 10. The first was Sinners. The second is this. And then knowing there's an extended Blu-ray excites me even more.
Yep. I liked it.
And you had every reason not to. So that's a big statement.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had one reason too, because I need Marvel to do better. And I was wondering what aspects of the MCU he was going to duplicate. And he picked a good one, Age of Ultron. Like, Age of Ultron came out the same time as Superman. Age of Ultron killed an entire city. Nobody said nothing about it because there's a lot of other stuff going on, and there was still the humor in it. Superman, they're like, how do they just destroy the city? That was the worst thing ever. Dude, they did worse than Age of Ultron. They killed more people, and no
They
one
killed a
had half
country.
of
A
that to say.
country.
Yeah, they just ripped the country up, and they were like, "Yeah, that's fine." But a city that's too beyond the pale. So
That's also the thing about this movie is everyone's just so used to all this shit happening that like the scene where Lois and him are talking while the imp fight's going on in the background, she just keeps like side glancing.
you
So
gotta
like,
help them. Like, now they're fine. They got that. He's
alrighty, guys,
no mind drinking cocoa.
that is gonna wrap things up. So don't forget to comment to win this, and then head over, check out our new Instagram website, everything. A lot of big things coming. Geek versus Nerd returns this week with full episodes. But that's been our Superman wrap up for Geek versus Nerd. I've been Chuck Kiwatts,
I've been D.
and you guys have yourselves a week.